What's up guys? So today I have a video that I got a request to do this I think like a couple weeks ago, and I also gave out the idea, like I suggested it, and a lot of you guys said yes to go ahead and do it. So what this is going to be a fall bridal inspired look, and I'm using the word bridal very loosely just because I know how, what's a good word to describe this? There are obviously many ways to do a fall look, but this is just kind of showing you, if somebody told me to go ahead and create what I would consider a perfect fall look, this is what comes to my mind. But of course, for those of you that are makeup artists, definitely do whatever it is that your client wants you to do, because not everybody likes dark lips, not everybody likes eyeliner, and everybody likes false lashes. So definitely do whatever it is that makes your bride feel the best on her special day. I do it all the time, to where I have to kind of really feel out what it is that my client is looking for. I have some really glam clients, and I have some clients that like to keep it a little bit toned down just so they feel more comfortable. So definitely do whatever makes them feel best. What I will say though is that definitely contouring and the layering technique that I'm going to show you guys in this video is definitely something that helps with the makeup as far as in photography and making it last all day, which if any of you have been to a wedding, which I'm sure we all have, weddings are an all-day event, so definitely you want something that's going to last on your bride, and also of course make it like waterproof, sweatproof, and weatherproof and all of that jazz. So definitely there are some tips in here where I give you my recommendations on what products to use in order to withstand those kinds of conditions. Also, new background change again. What do you guys think of this one? I personally am loving it, especially how it looks on camera right now from what I can see in the viewfinder, but I'm really excited to see what it looks like on my computer screen, so hopefully it looks really good too on your computer screen. Let me know what you think of this one, because I know I had like iffy comments on my white background in my last video, and to be honest with you, like I mentioned in the voiceover of that video, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it as well. It was just kind of like neutral feeling. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's helpful for some of you that maybe are stumped, maybe you're doing your own makeup on your wedding day and you would like a little bit of inspiration or maybe some help, some tips on what to do to make your makeup last longer, or to have just, you know, an overall idea of what would be a good fall wedding look. So I hope you find it helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. So to start off this look, I'm first starting off with the eyes. I like to start off with the eyes first, especially with my clients, because I feel like it keeps the foundation a lot cleaner. And I'm first going to be applying MAC's Paint Pot in Soft Ochre all over my entire eyelid. I personally do recommend this primer for special events, because even though it is thicker, it does give your eyelid a nice blank even canvas to work on. And then I'm going to be taking whatever's left on my brush, just brushing that against my bottom lashes. Then to set this primer, I'm going to be using Divinity from the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette, and just really stamping this and pressing this all over my entire lid space. Then I'm going to be taking this matte taupe shade from the Jaclyn Hill's Morphe Favorites palette, and on a real hair on a real hair fluffy brush, I'm going to be just making sure to really work this and contouring out the crease of my eye. As you can tell, it's going in a more curved motion back and forth. Then I'm going to be taking the Almond Truffle shade from the Bonbons palette as well, because it's a lot more cool tone. So this is, again, this is more so for eye contouring than it is for shading purposes. And then I'm going to be taking this darker gray tone back from the Morphe palette, and all of this is on the same brush, by the way. And I'm just really focusing this color on the outer part of my crease, again, just to elongate my lid a little bit and just to deepen up the eye contour a little bit more. Then on a smaller crease brush, I am using this deep maroon matte shade and just really buffing this in circular motions on the outer V of my eye, and just using whatever excess I have to push towards the inner corner. Using brushes, especially like real hair brushes, are really important and helpful to use if you're doing your own makeup, or if this is the first time doing makeup on someone else, because it'll pick up any excess product so you don't apply too much too soon. I'm then going to be taking a little bit of Bordeaux from the Bonbons palette just to again further deepen up that outer V now. This is where we're adding some color instead of just some contour shades, and just buffing up in circular motions, and then again pushing whatever excess I have towards the inner corner or the inner part of my crease. Then I'm going to be taking Mocha, and this is more to warm up the crease as opposed to contouring, and on that Real Hair Fluffy brush once more I'm going back and forth and just really making sure to use this as a transition shade to mix in all of the colors together so they blend evenly in the crease. Then I'm taking a clean Bobbi Brown eye blender brush, which is super fluffy and super helpful in blending out colors on the eyelid, and I'm just buffing in circular motions up towards my eyebrow. This is just going to give us a nice fade, and so we have a nice blend all throughout the eyelid. I'm then picking up a little bit of that deep maroon shade once more and just focusing this on the outer corner. Then I'm taking a little bit of Divinity once more just to re-brighten up the inner part of our eyelid, and I'm just going to be really utilizing the tip of this fluffy brush to really just melt it into the crease color, also in the inner corner as well, and then just kind of blending it as it fades off into the outer V. And then going in once more just with the Bobbi Brown eye blender brush to blend everything out. It's a lot of blending, I'm telling you. Then for the eyeliner, I decided to do a wing, keeping it sort of modest though, and I'm taking my Inglot gel liner in 77 because this eyeliner is seriously the best eyeliner I have ever used. I specifically like it for brides because it doesn't run or smear, especially if someone starts to tear up, so that is super important. And I'm just doing a classic wing liner how I usually do. Again, I have a full tutorial on this on my channel already, so you're more than welcome to check that out in case you want a little bit of guidance on how to do a wing liner as well. Once I already laid down that liner, I'm then going to go over it with the NYX Skinny Liquid Liner just to perfect it and make everything nice and even. I'm then going to take Benefit's Boing Concealer in shade 1 and a small angle brush. This is from Anastasia. This is their number 7 brush. And I'm just going to be cleaning up and resharpening up that tail of the wing. Now moving on to the face, I'm first going to be taking Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer and really smoothing this all over my skin, but really focusing this primer on the perimeter of my face. And I'm going to be mixing with primers today just for different purposes, which is totally cool and okay to do, especially just to hit target problem areas. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking my Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer, and I'm first just going to be smoothing this all over the center of my face where I tend to have larger pores, which is especially around my nose area, my nostrils, and also on the inner parts of my cheeks. This primer is really good at filling in any pores or fine lines. I am beginning to find out I am liking it more and more every day. It really fills in everything nicely, and it has a really good scent to it, which is a huge plus in my book. Then I'm going to be correcting, and I'm taking my NYX Color Correcting Palette. I'm first taking this pinky shade concealer and just kind of buffing this and smoothing this out underneath my eyes to conceal any of that light purpleness that I may have. And this seriously just brightens up that whole under eye area and really lifts the eye, and you can really see a difference. I mean, look right here compared to my both eyes. My other eye, it looks really droopy. Then I'm taking this yellow concealer from that same palette and just popping this over any blemishes I may have. Also placing this around my nostril area because I tend to get really red there, especially if you have allergies. This is a good tip to do as well. And then I'm going to be mixing in Girl Meets Pearl from Benefit. I'm just taking about maybe half a twist, placing it on the back of my hand, and this is like a liquid illuminator, and I'm going to be mixing it with my NARS All Day Luminous foundation, and I'm taking about 3 pumps of this, which is going to be like super full coverage for this particular foundation, mixing them together on the back of my hand, and then just starting to dot the foundation around my face. I chose this foundation because one, it is very lightweight but very pigmented, so I'm going to get a nice full coverage, but also this is a great foundation to use for those of us who are oily but don't want a super matte finish, which I think is really important to have, especially for weddings. The bride's skin should look very glowy, very luminous, very youthful. So that's kind of why I went towards this foundation, but definitely use whatever foundation you like most for yourself or for your client, or what your client needs, you know, really tend to their needs. I'm just buffing this foundation out with my Bobbi Brown Full Coverage Face Brush, and I'm just doing it more like in a stippling motion just to keep the impact of the full coverage there instead of just swiping it all away. For highlighting, I'm going to be using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC 15. And I'm placing this concealer underneath my eye area, feathering out in a triangle shape on both sides of my cupid's bow, down the bridge of my nose, and also in the center of my forehead. I'm then going to be placing a few stripes underneath my eye area only of the Sephora brightening pen in Radiant Rose or shade 3, and then buffing this all out with my beauty blender. I really would suggest that if this is your first time using any sort of tools for your foundation, definitely use beauty blenders or foundation brushes to do your makeup, especially if you're someone that usually just uses your hands. Definitely try using these tools because you'll see a huge difference and your foundation will literally look airbrushed. I'm then going to be contouring with my LA Girl Pro Concealer in Beautiful Bronze, and I'm first going to be lip contouring first, placing a stripe down my cupid's bow, also just outlining my lips with this contour shade down the sides of my nose to really thin out my nose since I do have a little bit more of a rounded off nose, especially towards my tip. Also around my forehead, since my forehead is a little bit more broad. Then I'm also going to be taking from the top of my ear down to the corner of my mouth, but feathering it off lightly, and then also around my jawline and chin since my chin is a little bit pointy. So here's my contour pattern in case you want to save it, take a picture. And then I'm going to be using that same beauty blender to buff everything out. This is actually the first time that I use my beauty blender to buff out my cream contour, and I absolutely love it. Trust me. You may think that it may disturb your foundation underneath, but it actually doesn't. It actually really helps keep everything in place, and just as long as you're controlling what direction you're like bouncing the beauty blender in is what's really going to give you the control with contouring. So especially like around the cheekbone area, you really want to make sure you're bouncing upward just so the contour stays blended upward instead of downward, and you're going to just be defeating the whole purpose of contouring. Also around the forehead area as well, it really like worked out beautifully. I feel like I maybe was a little too heavy-handed with my forehead contour, but that's okay. In a minute you're going to see me switch over to my brush. I'm just using whatever is left on there of my foundation just to kind of cool it down a little bit, and then again just going over with the beauty blender to make sure everything's buffed out, especially around my mouth area, and it just keeps everything looking a whole lot more natural. Then for my nose contour, I'm actually going to be using a brush to blend this all out because I don't want to disturb this small space since it is such a tight space and corners to be working in. I'm just using a brush and then wiping off any excess product I may have onto a napkin. You can use the back of your hand as well, just to keep things, you know, without too much product on my nose in case I did go a little too heavy-handed. Then I'm going to be using the NYX Contour and Highlight kit, using these two shades to highlight underneath my eyes. I am making sure to blend out any crease lines because if you don't, and if you set those crease lines, they are not going anywhere, which is really annoying. So I'm just going to be using a powder brush to really pack on this powder. What I personally like to do with my clients is actually I set every highlight and contour zone with corresponding shades of full coverage foundation powders. But what I'm finding with this NYX contour kit is that these powders are actually really full coverage as well, so it kind of is the same idea. So I'm making sure to press these two mixtures of these highlight powders onto every area that we highlighted. I'm then going to be using my Benefit Hoola bronzer as a transition shade between my contour and highlight. I know that sounds funny, but it actually does help. Trust me, transition shades are not only used for the eye areas, they can definitely be used for contouring and highlighting as well. So on a Sonia Kashuk large powder face brush, I'm definitely going to be placing this on my cheekbones and also along my hairline as well. Then going back to the NYX contour palette, I'm going to be taking a mixture of these two contour shades with my Luxie angle brush and just really utilizing the tip of this brush and focusing these shades more so towards the back, towards my ear, and then just feathering off into, like going into the corner of my mouth is the best way that I can describe this. Again, you don't want to drag this down any further, just keep everything blended upwards. Then taking whatever is left on my brush, I'm going to be just kind of reinforcing the forehead contour as well. Then moving to a smaller, more dense brush, I'm going to be picking up these contour shades and just kind of outlining my lips with this as well, just again to re-emphasize the lip contour that we did. And then also taking my Real Techniques setting brush and just very lightly dusting along the sides of my nose with these contour shades. Since they are super pigmented and my nose contour already looks pretty sharp right now, I don't really want to further sharpen it or else it'll look a little too crazy. So I am just going to be lightly dusting them just to set these areas. Then I'm going to be taking my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and with my Bobbi Brown sheer powder face brush, I'm actually going to be setting this all over my entire face to just seal in everything. Now I know this seems like a lot of powder products or a lot of products in general, but trust me, this is what makes it special event makeup, because you have now these layers of makeup that are going to wear off very gracefully, and this is actually what makes your makeup last a whole lot longer. Trust me, I've had clients say that this makeup has lasted them definitely well more than 24 hours. And like I said earlier, weddings are an all-day event and you need it to withhold and withstand a whole bunch of different conditions. Then to add some glow back into the skin, I am taking my Merry Luminizer from the Balm Cosmetics, and on a fan brush just dusting this onto the tops of my cheekbones. Again, I think it looks very flattering on a bride to have glowing skin, so if your bride wants that, definitely go hard with the highlighter, but if not, you can definitely keep it toned down. I packed it on because, like I said, I think it just really complemented the look well. Especially for fall and in these drier months, it actually really pays off to look pretty dewy. Then I'm taking a thin stripe on down the bridge of my nose and also dusting a little bit over on my Cupid's bow. And then for blush, I am taking the e.l.f. blush palette and taking this berry tone with a Luxie large brush, and I'm first going to be stamping this from the temple all the way down to the apples of my cheek lightly, just to get a nice fade, because I have noticed I'm a little heavy-handed with my blush, so this really helps and prevents me from getting too heavy-handed or harsh. Since all of our powder products are now on, I'm going to be setting my brows with the NYX Brow Mascara in Espresso, and I personally like a fuller look, so to get that, I like to brush the inner hairs up, and then starting to go towards my tail, I like to brush them up and out. To finish off the eyes, I am taking my NARS Rue Bonaparte eyeliner and just lining my inner waterline. Then taking a little bit of Bordeaux on a MAC 212 brush. Once again, I'm going to be pressing these up against my lower lashes, then buffing it out with a little bit of mocha, and also going over once more with almond truffle just to really fade it out and smoke it out. This eyeliner, especially the white eyeliner on the inner rim, makes our eyes look a whole lot larger too. For the inner corner highlight, I'm using Satin Sheets from the Too Faced palette as well. This is easily becoming my new favorite inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight as well, because I love the vanilla tone that it has. And then for the brow bone, I'm actually going to be just picking up Divinity once more just to re-brighten up this area. I didn't want a shimmery highlight for this. I kind of want to keep this all matte. For lashes, I am using these lashes from Ono Lash. These are the 402s, and while the glue is getting tacky, I'm going to be just coating my lashes in some mascara. This is the Lancome Hypnose Drama. Definitely recommend to use waterproof or water resistant mascara for brides. Then for the lips, I'm taking a mixture of these two ColourPop Ultra Mattes. This is in the shade Avenue and in the shade Tool. I just felt like they complemented each other really well and created a really nice berry look, which is definitely appropriate for fall. If your bride doesn't like berry looks, definitely do something that's more accustomed to her liking. Also keep in mind, darker colors make lips look smaller, while lighter colors make them look a little bit larger. And same thing, mattes don't really offer any much plumping, whereas glosses can make your lips look a little bit more plump. So just keep that in mind. Then I'm going to be placing on these lashes since the glue is now sticky. Once those are popped on, I am taking two mixtures of setting sprays. First, my MAC Fix Plus, just to give everything a more natural look, and then just setting everything with the All Nighter setting spray to lock it all in. Then this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope I gave you guys some useful information and helped you out a little bit on what to do for brides. If you like this video, let me know what you think of the look down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.